What's going on, guys? I'm here with my chiropractor, three-time NorCal regional CrossFit athlete, Dr. Jordan Jiunta. Now he's going to be taking us through the overhead press. So I come from more of a bodybuilder powerlifting background. He's more of a CrossFit athlete, Olympic lifting. So we're going to sort of compare and contrast what we see in our offices with pain associated with the overhead press. So we're going to go through clearing tests out the gate, mobility work to get into the overhead press position, mistakes that we both see in our offices, and then finally proper execution.
All right, guys, to clear, we want to make sure that we can get into that overhead position with a good stable posture. We want to make sure we have spinal stability here. We're bracing our entire core, staying in that locked out position. So we're going to demonstrate as a wall angel for you guys. So I'm going to have Jordan get against the wall here. I want you to flatten that back, keep that lumbar spine against the wall. You can feel it right there. Keeping the rib cage down, so we're tensing the abdominals. And what we're going to do is start with our arms at 90 degrees here. Keep the backs of those wrists on the wall. And now I want you to come overhead all the way straight. And now let's see if we can get those thumbs to touch at the top. Perfect. So right now we're keeping the back nice and flat against the wall. And we have that nice locked out position overhead.
Whew. Okay. So now we're going to go over, now what if you can't do that? So what if, this is a common presentation, what if your wall angel looks like this? So big arch in the low back, can't control the rib cage, and we can't get that adequate external rotation at the top. So we're going to switch over. Jordan's going to show us some band stretches and some foam roller work to help get us into that overhead press position.
All right, guys, this first stretch here is to increase our mobility in that shoulder flexion and external rotation where we should be at the top of that press. So we're going to start with the band, moderate resistance. We want it to be about shoulder height, fixed to something like this upright right here. We're going to put our arm through, keep it right below that elbow, and then you're going to take your palm, bring it to the outside of the band. That's that external rotation there. From there, you're going to take a half lunge forward, and then you're going to let that band pull directly backward to get that arm in line with your body. Once you're there, gently edge into the stretch. Keep your hips, shoulders square to the wall in front of you, and maintain this position for 2 to 3 full minutes each side. All right, guys, the second thing we're going to attack is the Rasik Extension. So a lot of times what happens is you can only get maybe this range of motion with your shoulders, so start to extend that lumbar spine to get this what looks like it might be an overhead position, but that's not a stable position. We don't want to be there. So what we need to work on is that upper back extension so we can get into this nice locked out position, stay nice and upright. So all I want you guys to do for this one, sit down on the ground. We're going to put this foam roller about mid-back. Let's keep our hips on the ground here, hands up overhead. Just lean back until those thumbs touch the ground. All right, hold this position for about 30 seconds. What you're going to do is you're going to come up, inch that roller up your back, same exact thing. Thumbs to the ground, 30 seconds, all the way till you get to the top of those shoulder blades.
All right, guys, now that we can get into an overhead press position safely, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes we see commonly in our offices. So I come from more of a bodybuilding, powerlifting background, so that brings with it some common mistakes that I see, where Jordan comes from more of a CrossFit background, and so he's going to go over some of the mistakes that he sees. Now, with me, with bodybuilders and powerlifters, there's this common mistake of looking at the overhead press as a delt exercise. Now, there's a difference between a delt exercise and a shoulder exercise, and that difference comes in with how we look at what the shoulder is. So bodybuilders and powerlifters just look at the glenohumeral joint, so the single ball and socket joint of the shoulder. So they think of, they come from like a military press or Arnold press sort of background, so they're used to training an overhead press as a movement of the deltoid, where in actuality the overhead press with a barbell is more of a full shoulder workout. So not just the glenohumeral joint, but also strengthening the AC, the SC, and the scapulothoracic. So all movements of the shoulder. So the common mistake I'll see, before I left for you real quick, is that people like to keep the bar forward. So keeping the bar in front of them tries to keep tension on the anterior delts instead of getting into this full overhead press position. So that's what I see a lot. So if you're coming from a bodybuilder, powerlifting background, keep that in mind, that you're strengthening the full shoulder and not just the delts.
Right. What I see in the CrossFit gym, some more inexperienced Olympic weightlifters, what I'll see is that they get a barbell on the front of their body and they think, all right, front rack position, we're ready to go overhead, we're ready to do front squats, whatever we need to do. And that's not necessarily the purpose of this. We're trying to get this barbell overhead, so we have to start by packing that shoulder joint, getting in a good pressing position. So you're not gonna have any kind of strength pressing from here, right? So you need to get those shoulders under you, 45-degree angle from the body, right here. Keep tension all the way through those lats, through those delts, chest, and posterior shoulder joint. And we're gonna press straight overhead from there.
Okay, now those are some of the mistakes that we commonly see. Some mobility work to get into the position and a clearing test to see if you should be doing overhead press. Now what we're gonna do is go through execution. What does this look like when you put it all together? All right, guys, now Jordan's gonna take you through proper execution of the overhead press. So Jordan, what are we doing?
All right, so first things first, we're gonna start, I like to always start with the bottom up setup. So if you're being stationary from the waist down, you wanna make sure you lock that in. Your feet are balanced, you're squeezing that butt. Next thing, we're gonna balance the rib cage, keep those tension in those abdominals, make sure we have that lower back arch. So he's gonna do that as he takes that barbell out of the rack on your shoulders. All right, step forward. All right, so right now he's squeezing that butt, keeping that lower body stable. He's nice and balanced through his feet. There's tension in his abs here, nice neutral low back. Like we said, those elbows are pointing down and out at a 45-degree angle. All he's gonna do is gonna initiate that press by pushing straight up, tilting that chin back a little bit, pushing to the sky, putting that head back through, and he's gonna lock out right over his center of mass right here. Okay, he's gonna return the barbell down the same way for his next rep, keeping that tension, even loading those lats on the way down. There we go, and that's the overhead press. All right, guys, so that's a quick run through of the overhead press. We gave you a clearing test to make sure you should be pressing overhead, see if you can get into stable positions. Then we have some tools to work on your mobility to maintain increased range of motion. And then we went over some quick things to look out for, mistakes that you don't want to be making, and how you should properly be pressing.
All right, guys, so that's the wrap for today. I'd like to thank Dr. Jordan for taking time out of his day, kind of walking us through it, sharing his expertise. You'll see him on this channel again soon. If you're not following him on Instagram, @TheFunctionalChiro, do yourself a favor, a lot of good information there. So that's a wrap, and we'll see you next time.
Cool. All right, guys, so that sums up the overhead.
And take care.
Take care? What? Take care. Sorry. Take care, Grandma.
All right. What am I gonna say to end this thing? We'll see you next time.
We'll see you guys later.
See you next time. All right.